is that we Welcome to the Own Your Life podcast, where our goal is to help bring hope, healing, and peace by sharing our experiences and inspiring you to own your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own Your Life podcast. Today is episode 40. Woo woo. Happy Easter, by the way. I know this is coming out the Wednesday after, but today is Easter, so I wish you all a happy Easter and wanted to let you all know we have arrived in Tampa. We are all moved in, waiting on a couple of furniture pieces to arrive, but however, we didn't take into account that furniture is also on delay, as well as building homes, which I knew that from real estate, in my profession, but had no idea that furniture was months out from when you order it. So if you're going to be ordering furniture anytime soon, you might want to do it sooner than later due to that fact, all because of supplies with COVID. So anyways, just to let you know that little tidbit, but we are here. We're excited. We're actually going to go hang out by the pool after this. So feels like we're living on a resort right now in this apartment, which is really cool. We've got the water here, and we're going to do another podcast about environment, but not today. So today we're going to be talking all about spring cleaning and how less is more.
Yeah, we feel like for us in the ways, we feel like we want to make sure that we fill our life with experiences and not things. We want to have stories to tell people. We want to have that type of lifestyle versus just things. Because sometimes in people's lives, we feel like there's so many things that people do just to have stuff. And we would rather experience any type of life stuff, whether it be going and visiting the mountains, going and visiting, islands, going and visiting water, wherever that's at. We feel like that's way more important to us than just buying, maybe the next computer system, the next car, the next whatever, because it's just not that beneficial to us. And we feel like there's only so much you can do with some of the clutter that is in your house. And we feel like it distracts us. It distracts our thinking, and it prevents us from being creative because there's just clutter everywhere sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like obviously a lot of this has come with us moving recently, as in a week ago, but leading up to that move, we had to go through, I pretty much went through everything we had, because I not only packed stuff to come with us to our apartment, I had to pack stuff to be stored because we can't fit everything. Obviously, this apartment is not anywhere near the size of our house that we just moved from, so we couldn't fit everything, and we weren't going to get rid of everything because the goal is to move to another home. However, we just wanted to be in an apartment for a little bit to figure out where exactly we wanted to be in a home. So I had to go through everything to sort it. Either it's coming or it's going to go to storage. And when I did that, it actually made me really think, what do I absolutely have to have right now? Because we're going to be in this apartment for 6 or 7 months. And I need, obviously, items that are going to get us through that time period. So I had to take into effect, like the weather and the time of year, and like food wise, what do I need for cooking? I didn't bring everything that was in my kitchen, but I brought the most essential items. And I think it just made me really think about, what do you absolutely have to have? And I looked at the items that I use on a daily basis, maybe a weekly basis, and there's some that I barely use. And the ones that I barely use, I either put them in storage, or I donated them, got rid of them, or I sold them. And I think that that's a really important thing. And you don't have to move to be able to do this. That the reason why we called it the spring cleaning episode is because a lot of people are doing that right now. They're going through stuff anyways. So I would encourage you to take the time and go through your stuff. Maybe it's a room or a closet that you haven't looked at in a long time, and it's just kind of like you just throw stuff in there and it just disappears into the abyss. Well, at some point, it's going to be too much, and you won't be able to close that room or that closet anymore. And you're going to go through it and be like, wow, why did I keep all of this stuff? And I really think that items and things have a hold on us mentally if we have too much, or things that we're not using or that aren't serving us. I really feel like it does have an impact mentally on us. So I think that when you do go through your items, put them in piles. Is this going to go in the trash? Am I going to donate it? Am I going to sell it? Or am I going to keep it? So those 4 categories, I think, will help you in determining what you actually need and what you don't need. I think that that would be, something that can help you move forward to clearing your mind. And actually, a recommendation of a book that I have would be Getting Things Done by David Allen. Now, it's all about doing tasks and having lists, or even going through emails, going through things, pretty much going through anything in your life. But the main goal of it is to have a mind like water. And when we have all of this clutter, whether it's physically or mentally, that keeps your mind from being that way. And that can actually give you brain fog. It can keep you from thinking clearly. And I think that for me, at least, I want a mind like water. I don't like being bogged down over thinking about things that maybe don't really matter, or it's just little tasks that I haven't done that maybe I didn't write down. So I feel like part of it is going to be going through your stuff as well as, getting other things accomplished. But the part that we want to focus on here is obviously decluttering in your life.
I know that there is some things that basically it's almost just like as if clutter is nothing more than a postponed decision. Oh, I'll get to that later. Oh, I'll put that in that closet. I'll put this in the garage. I'll put this in the barn or whatever. And it's just postponing the decision that you have to make eventually anyways. So just make sure that you're following through on getting rid of stuff that you just don't need anymore, because somebody could really benefit from having some of the things that you have. For instance, like we sold a couple wakeboards when we were in Charlotte. We haven't had a boat in a little while now. But we sold these wakeboards that we were keeping because we were going to get another boat soon, but we didn't get the boat recently. So we sold the wakeboards. And what was crazy is that one of the wakeboards we sold, the people literally went out that day and used it. And we're like, that's awesome, because we haven't used it in forever. And now this person's gaining enjoyment from this item that we were just hoarding almost and just putting it in a garage. It's been in our garage for a while. So that's just awesome to me that somebody else is getting enjoyment out of something that should have been enjoyed the whole time, but we didn't ever parted with it. And how many things do you have in your life that you could part with that somebody else would be ecstatic to have? And whether that's even just a t-shirt, somebody, if it goes to Goodwill or Salvation Army, somebody may really need that t-shirt or that sweater or that jacket or whatever else that you're holding on to that you haven't worn in 6-7 years. That's just taking a spot in your closet. And we just feel like everybody can benefit from giving away something, selling something, whatever it is that you're going to do with whatever you're not using currently.
Yeah, I think that an important question to ask yourself is, what do I really need? And need and want are very different things. And it's okay to have things that might be frivolous or whatever. But in the end, if you've got a whole bunch of stuff that you don't use and you don't really care about anymore, and you're just hanging on to, maybe it's time to get rid of that. Or maybe it's time to give it to somebody that could benefit from it, or sell it. We used Facebook Marketplace to sell a bunch of things, and it worked out very well. So I would highly recommend using that to sell your items, or eBay. I've done eBay before as well. So I would recommend those, but I feel like with Facebook Marketplace, you can do more with just in person. So you can meet them somewhere, or they can come to your house if you feel comfortable to come get whatever it is. We did sell a lot of big items, a lot of furniture. So obviously I couldn't just meet somebody in a parking lot somewhere to give those to them, but that really worked out for us. And I think it's about really breaking off your attachment to things, because I feel like with how society is that we have to gather all this stuff. Oh, you have to make money so you can buy this, buy that, buy the next whatever, and just keep acquiring all this stuff. We don't have messages about, hey, you need to get rid of this. You need to donate this. You need to sell this. No, it's always more, more, more. We need more. That's how people sell things. That's how all these companies are in business, because they've gotten you to buy their product. So at some point, though, that product isn't going to satisfy you anymore or serve you anymore. And at that point, maybe then you need to let go of it so that you can move on and have a more simple life. I think that's what Matt and I have really wanted to get to, is having more simplicity and just not all this stuff. And really, when we took multiple car loads to Goodwill and Salvation Army, and just getting rid of all that stuff is so freeing, just mentally and physically. It was just so nice to just get rid of it and break off the attachment. And I think that that's just so hard for us as a society, because we're just taught more, 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 instead of, kind of be minimalistic with it because companies wouldn't make money if they weren't selling anything. So it's kind of going against the grain, but that's going to give you more freedom and more clarity in your mind in the end.
Yeah, I was telling Ash before we started this podcast is that there's a quote that says, never under the influence of clutter, we may underestimate how much time we're giving to less important stuff. And I started thinking about when we were talking about this, the movie Along Came Polly, where he kind of has a freak out session with the throw pillows. He's sitting there. He's like, I don't understand. I spend 4 minutes in the morning, 4 minutes at night. I'm taking these throw pillows on and off the bed. I spend 56 minutes a week and doing this. And I spend almost 2 years of my life taking on and off throw pillows every single year. And really, that's just insane when you think about it. If you have that, no things against throw pillows or anything like that, if you guys have throw pillows on your bed.
Oh, I'm against throw pillows, but go ahead.
But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't make sense that you're spending two days of your life a year taking on and off throw pillows because nobody sees them except you. And I don't know if that brings enjoyment to your life, seeing throw pillows on your bed, but I know that for me, I could care less. So whether there's throw pillows on my bed, but in this thing is that we're just talking about the simplicity is basically the soul of efficiency. And when you can get to a more simplistic place and you can actually enjoy your house, enjoy your things more that you absolutely have to have as far as your necessities. And then you can actually start enjoying your life more as well, because you're going to end up having more creativity because there's more space for you to be more creative. There's more space for you to actually go out and get things done. There's more space for you to actually have time to think about certain things. Because I think sometimes what we're trying to get to is we're trying to get this next thing in our life, but we can't get there because we've got too much clutter in our life, whether it's in our brain or in our house or whatever it is, that we can't take that next step because we can't clear our mind long enough to do that. And when we've kind of went through all of our house, and I'll speak for me, I felt more free just by knowing that I was downsizing into an apartment. I felt more freeing. It felt more freeing to me because I was like, this is exactly what I want, because I don't even like a ton of pictures on the walls. I know some people are like, oh, well, it looks like kind of like a doctor's office in here or whatever, because I had white walls in my first house. But I didn't care. I loved it because it was just so simple for me, because I don't like clutter. I don't like all the stuff. I don't like all the little accessories that people put all over their houses and stuff. I'm not about accessories. About being very simple and just being very clean. And that's me, but I know some people are not that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, which has worked well, obviously, because we live in the same place, and that would be a huge conflict if it wasn't. But I like decorations just minimal, very minimal. I don't like clutter. We don't like walls filled. I've obviously shown many houses in my lifetime, and when I show houses that are cluttered, I get anxiety, and I'm glad I'm only there for a few minutes or maybe 15, 20 minutes at the most, because I get anxiety from that. If you have no wall space, like that freaks me out. And if I had to live in that environment, I know that I would be very distracted just because of that being on the wall. So maybe that's something you haven't thought about, but your environment really, really does matter. So if you have things that are cluttering up, like we've been saying this whole time, that could be affecting you, and maybe why you're not where you want to be, because you have those distractions that you're not even consciously aware of. And this also goes with, clearing out the clutter in your mind. And are you doing too much? So maybe make a list of all of your responsibilities, or what you think are your responsibilities, and what you're doing, and narrow that down. What can you eliminate? What can you maybe do at a later time? I think we've recommended the book, The One Thing, multiple times, that we need to change our focus. You can only really focus on one main goal at a time. And one thing that has freed me about this, because I like to do, a lot of things at once, or at least think that I can, but focusing on one thing at a time has been more beneficial for me. And Marie Forleo is very famous. She has a great book called Everything is Figure Outable. But one thing that she has said is it's okay to be multi-passionate. And that really freed me when she said that, because I thought, oh crap, I just have to pick one thing and that's it. No, you can be multi-passionate about a lot of things. However, she's also said that you need to work on one thing at a time. So if you are maybe homeschooling your kids and you're working full-time from home, and you have this hobby that you're doing every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you're also going to school for something else to get a degree in whatever it is, and you're doing something else, you're doing way too much. I'll tell you that right now. You are doing too much, and you're not going to get out of it. What you could be is if you focused on less and got more out of that and then moved on to the next thing. Because I know we all want to do everything at once. However, it's not going to work out that way. And it's okay to take a step back and to slow yourself down, because you're really slowing down to speed up, if that makes sense, because you're going to be able to complete whatever it is that you're working on if you're focused more on one thing than on 10 things and kind of halfway doing each thing, because you're not able to give all your attention to it.
I think that that's kind of a part of society now, is that, everybody has, this side hustle and all this other stuff. And the problem is that nobody's becoming good or great at anything, and everybody's becoming mediocre at everything. So now whenever you're able to become great at whatever it is, you stand so far outside the crowd that it's just completely different. You're breathing a different air because people are coming up to you, asking different things, asking how you're doing stuff, asking how you can help them in different areas, just because you're so good at the whatever it is you've hyper focused on. And I think that that's why we picked the word focus this year, is because, we all need to realign and refocus on what's important to us and become a master at whatever it is you're doing. And I know that this is something that's different than everybody else has said in this world right now. But if you look at the people that are telling you to do X, Y, Z, and then you have to have 5 separate things that you're doing all the time, is their life really that great? Probably, it may be a little bit in front of you, but they may not have a great life. They may be so split that they're not ever able to really accomplish everything they want to accomplish. And really, if you talk to any millionaire, they'll tell you that they got hyper focused on one thing and then they diversified. And I think that that's a misconception, is that, we need to be have so many different streams of income, have all this stuff, but that's not necessarily the truth, because whatever these people have done to get whatever they've gotten, they become hyper focused on one thing and then they diversified to be the best at whatever they are currently doing and then diversify from there.
Yeah. And I think the saying goes that we've heard, jack of all trades, master of none. We've all heard that. And we don't want to be that. We want to be a master of whatever it is and then move on to the next thing and master that and master that. And I think it is important, like Matt had said, though, that these people with multiple streams of income, and I know that's a goal for us, but it's not to work on every single stream at the same time. That's not how they got there. They got there because they worked on one. They probably worked their butt off for years to get that one stream going. And then they can put that, on automation, whether it's delegating it to somebody else to take care of, or it's a big company they made or whatever. And then they can move on to the next thing. They didn't do that and then do another thing and a third and a fourth and a fifth thing all at the same time. That's just not possible to make all that successful all at once. So the main thing is you can have all of this abundance in your life, but are you willing to take the steps back and simplify and declutter to get there? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that decluttering physically, decluttering mentally, to be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Otherwise, you're going to be so bogged down with the stuff physically and mentally that you're not going to be able to really get outside of that, because it's going to weigh you down.
Yeah. The old saying, I was an overnight success, but it only took 10 years. But, I feel like we've done a lot of different things, and we just want to make sure that everybody on our podcast that listen to us on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or maybe it's just your first time listening to us, we want to make sure that we provide the most value from the life lessons that we've had, so that you guys don't make the same mistakes we did for a longer period of time, because we want everybody to make small adjustments and small tweaks so they can get the most out of whatever it is they're currently doing now, so they can own their life and they can have the hope, healing, and peace they need in their life, so everybody can win, because we want everybody to win. We don't want anybody to be left out. We feel like when everybody wins, everybody gets better, and we surround ourselves with better people.
Yeah, and I feel like just the end message is less is more, that you don't have to have all of this stuff to be happy, to be successful. And I think if you talk to people who have it all, and I'm doing quotes which you can't see with my fingers, but if you talk to people who've, gotten the Maserati or gotten the big house or whatever, like that's not fulfilling to them. That didn't make them happy. What made them happy is the journey, the pursuit, the way that they've grown themselves, that they've focused on one area and moved on to the next area and grown in those ways. That is what makes you happy. And in the pursuit of your goals and dreams, not the stuff. The stuff is not going to make you happy.
It's just a byproduct.
Exactly. And in the end, you can't take it with you anyways, as much as you think. You can be buried with whatever you want, but it's not coming with you, just so you know that. So less is more. And I would just encourage you to take the time and go through, whether it's physically or mentally, make a list and go through your things and see what you can get rid of and see how much freeing that is. And honestly, I felt instantly freed when we gave stuff away or sold it or whatever, because it was just the act of getting rid of it was the freeing part, just doing that. So I think the more you do that, the more peace you're going to have in your life, and the more you'll be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish and own your life. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Please share this message. Please subscribe so we can get the word out. Rate and review us. And until next time, own your life, because your life is your responsibility. Thank you all for listening. If this added value to you, please click subscribe and rate and review us. You can also find us at Own Your Life Co. on Instagram and Facebook, and ownyourlifeco.com. And as always, own your life, because your life is your responsibility.